Boom. All right, we are live. Hello, everybody. It's Brent Agin. This is Q&A with Dr. A. Always like to bring some exciting conversations, but most importantly, I'm most excited to actually have Rodney Bailey here. And there's some important reasons why Rodney's here. But our topic today is semaglutide along with the Carb Revolution program. And I want to explain a little bit about those two, that combination of the medication and the eating strategy. And then obviously talk a little bit about Rodney. And Rodney is here because he is an actual good friend of mine, but also an amazing client, a great football player. I went to Michigan State, he went to Ohio State, so is in the Big Ten Conference. But most importantly is that Rodney has firsthand experience in this combination, and his story, I think, is going to show everybody just how possible it is to make life-changing transformations in both mental and physical health. And so it's really important to understand his story and see what he's done, so he can explain a little bit about how this can help you both mentally and physically. And so I'm going to start with a real quick about semaglutide. So semaglutide has been kind of a hot topic. You can hear it mentioned in different names, brand names. Ozempic is one of them, but semaglutide is not a new peptide, but it is a peptide. It's a glucagon-like peptide, or GLP-1. And so what these peptides do is it has several mechanisms, but the most important thing it does is it increases our insulin sensitivity, or increases our insulin in our body. And so you can imagine is that a lot of the problems that cause weight gain is how we manage our carbohydrates. We take in a lot of carbohydrates, and then after time, over time, our insulin becomes less sensitive and more resistant, and then it can't manage our glucose the same way, so we use whatever we can for energy, and then next what happens is that's going to get stored as fat. And so our American diets take in too many carbohydrates, so we have too much circulating glucose. So that's why we end up, gaining more and more body fat, because we're taking in more than we can actually use as an energy source. And so that's why semaglutide is such a popular topic right now, is because with the population, 80% of our population being overweight or obese, you can see that most of them are going to have insulin resistance or insulin sensitivity issues, making semaglutide a very good choice for them. The problem is that it is a medication and it's not a magic pill. It is a very good opportunity to help with that insulin secretion, decrease our appetite, reduce some of the cravings for food. It even slows down the transit time of food going through the colon. And what it does is, by increasing insulin, that takes the sugar in our bodies that we eat from our carbs, pushes it into the cells for energy. Whatever we don't use for energy is going to get stored in the fat, or in our muscles, or in our liver, which is called glycogen. And so, that is kind of how we talk about the carb rev, and how we utilize certain substances in our body for energy, and then how we use the carb revolution and intermittent fasting to burn through some ketones and then replenish our glycogen stores in a controlled fashion. So semaglutide is a medication, and why we pair that with the Carb Revolution program is because the Carb Revolution program is a lifestyle. And what that does is, along with semaglutide, puts you into this quicker state of metabolic enhancement to burn fat quicker, get used to a lifestyle quicker, get those results you want, and then obviously you carry it on, and your needs for semaglutide might go away, but your needs for a healthy lifestyle are never going to go away. So that's why the Carb Revolution, remember, is an intermittent fasting and carb backloading management system. So it also reduces appetite, it controls your macronutrients, and you can use it along with muscle mass. Obviously, you can see Rodney has plenty of muscle mass, and so you can still maintain muscles because it helps you manage your carbohydrates. So think about that. You put the semaglutide, which is going to increase your insulin sensitivity and improve your insulin secretion, help with reducing cravings, reducing your appetite, and improving weight loss, along with introducing a lifestyle program that also is going to help you manage your macros and get you into a state that once the semaglutide's done, you're already in a lifestyle that manages your weight just perfectly. So that's why we use this combination, and why these together are so important, especially in that 3 months of motivation. So, Rodney Bailey, if you guys don't know him, if you're in the Big Ten, you probably do know him. He's younger than me, but he played in the NFL for 7 years. He won a Super Bowl in 2004 with the New England Patriots. He also played with the Steelers. And he, at one point, was 480 485 pounds when he played football. And I want Rodney to tell you a little bit about how he used Semaglutide and the Carb Rev program, and how it's made some changes for him, and how he can definitely tell you if he can do it, anybody can do it. And because he's gone through a lot, through hitting his head a lot, and his goal has always been to look like this. And you can imagine a couple 100 pounds heavier, he did not look like this. And this guy is a muscle machine. So Rodney, tell a little bit about your story here.
Thank you, Dr. Agin. It's been a lot of work just basically to put together what we've done with the intermittent fasting and the Carb Rev program. Where I started in 2016 at about 485 pounds, diagnosed with 2.0 neurocognitive impairment with pre-Parkinson's. Didn't know much about either of these two diagnoses. Also, vasovagal syncope and exercise-induced asthma, along with severe sleep apnea. And the first thing that really changed was I realized from the Carb Revolution program during the detox process, the first phase, is that my water intake was around 11 to 12% a day. And I needed to take that intake up, and that was humbling just in itself to get to a level of now at about 150 to 160 ounces of water a day. That was first, along with the 2 shakes every day, and just being challenged by Dr. Agin. Really wasn't a challenge, it just was get out and do something. Lifestyle is medicine, and that is really what brought me to this point. I'm hovering around 280, 275 pounds at this point.
Did you guys hear that? 282, 280 pounds around there. So that is 200 pounds lost since 2016. And so that in itself is a person. That's more than me.
Yeah, so. It's thank you, doctor, and that's exactly what I needed to do with the injuries from the playing days that I was holding on to and living with. Everyone really is doing everything they can when they get serious about working out and losing weight and doing whatever they can do. Semaglutide with Carb Revolution together really put me on the right path of being able to menu out what I needed to eat, taking away those cravings. And with, I don't know if people know about having 2,800 plus concussions, what ends up happening after that, your judgment is lost. And one of those things in judgment is lost is how to eat. And for more than half my life, I have been battling with obesity. And at this chapter in my life, what I wanted to do and move forward to help a lot of other people was to be able to really hone in on the manifestation of what I wanted to be, how I've always wanted to look, as Doc said. And it is happening absolutely faster than I ever expected. And it's really just laying out the plan and working with the right crew. And I'm very thankful for Dr. Agin and the whole team.
Yeah, and so just to put this into perspective, 200 pounds. And again, what you can hear what Rodney said, this has been since 2016. And so, once we kind of identified what Rodney's needs were, and, again, this is both mental and physical health, we were able to start to really get some momentum going, because this is a lifestyle. And so once you kind of get your appetite controlled, and once you start being able to see what you can feel like with a certain amount of calorie intake, that's what changes everything. That is what allows you to really see the amount of calories you need to energize your body, and you start to get into a groove, which is called lifestyle. And so Rodney's got a long way to go, but he had a different occupation. You got to understand that. I mean, when you have thousands of concussions, and you're battling pre-Parkinson's and some of the inflammatory things that can happen through carrying that amount of weight, also having that many hits in the head, he's still making progress. But the big thing is he has so much hope now, because now he can actually see, I can have a life. It doesn't matter what ends up happening in his brain. If there is some long-term effects from this, he at least knows he can feel better and better, because he didn't realize he could get to this point of feeling good, much less looking this good. And so I think that's the message that really everybody needs to take from this, is that there is no magic pill. He's not saying that, hey, I lost 200 pounds in 6 days. It didn't happen that way. But what happened was just progressive results. And once you get your body in your metabolism working, and you get into a lifestyle that you just repeat, And again, this is moderation. This is a lifestyle. It doesn't mean he can't have a cocktail. It doesn't mean he can't have some carbs. That is what the program is designed for. But you have to put in some effort in that first 3 months to get over the hump. That's why we like that 3-month package, or 3 to 5 month package. I mean, I actually would even go to 6 months. But again, this is your whole life. Once you get this going, it just puts you onto autopilot eventually. That is how powerful it is in reducing your appetite, controlling your cravings, and allowing you to just get used to your metabolism. And then, there's going to be some work on the exercise side. But again, remember, in the Carb Rev, it's just asking for 3 days of exercise to match with the carb backloading once you get to the final phase. And so, it's so amazing having Rodney working together with him because, again, when you have someone that is 485 pounds, or if you have someone that's 285 pounds, at some point, mentally they get to a spot where they don't even conceive that they can actually have these types of results. And so without being a magic pill, but at least offering healthy solutions to start the process, because remember, you should never sacrifice health for weight loss. That is, again, why this whole program was initiated, is yes, we can push the results a little bit more with the semaglutide, but you have to have an eating program that's healthy and that's sustainable. And so combining these two get you that motivation because you get to see some results quicker with, of course, reducing your appetite, which everyone would love to have when you're trying to reduce weight. But just understand that is it. This still work. It's work, but that first 3 months is critical because after that first 3 months, is it not so much easier?
It's so much easier, and it's brought back the things that I lost in the weight gain. I lost accountability, focus, even of course your confidence.
Yeah.
These things come back so fast that you went from one end of the spectrum to the other end. And you really have to it makes you be humble. It makes you be humble after you realize how much work you finally have done. And I'm very thankful to have someone be honest with me about this. Thank you, Doc.
Yes. Yeah. And so in our world of medicine, we had HCG was a nice tool for weight loss. We have some other products that help with weight loss. This combination, again, you have to have an eating program. So if you can take a look at the Carb Rev, if you're someone that needs to have a very outlined program, then just get the whole Carb Rev kit, because the Carb Rev kit has stuff to support the brain and also has the protein shake, it has the energy product, it has the fat burner. So if you need that for the first 3 months, get the kits. Do it for 3 months, get the semaglutide, and watch after 3 months how good you can feel and see the results that you've already gotten in 3 months. It's a nice thing to have in place just to get you going. And so just remember, TeleWellnessMD, we carry this. We offer this. We are trying to help as many people as possible. I can only see a certain amount of people in my clinic every day. So TeleWellness is really created to bring these types of programs to more people, because right now, more than ever, we all need to get healthier. Just remember that this is the perfect time to do it. We know that you have to take control of your own health, and intermittent fasting, our Carb Rev program, is a great nucleus. The semaglutide is just going to help you get some of that motivational weight quicker. Obviously, you need your water intake, you need your exercise. We have a lot of other products to consider, but this one was specifically for those that just really need that push to get to that point where they're like, God, I feel so much better. Because you're not going to go backwards. Once you feel that point where you feel better, that's why I said 3 months. Once he got over the hump and he started saying, God, I not only feel better physically, I feel better mentally. And then he already had that vision in his head of what he could look like. And then it was just, and then all of a sudden, bam, he looks like a completely different person. People don't recognize him anymore. And he feels amazing. And I'm also, again, I've been doing the Carb Rev for almost 9 years, and I can tell you that if you want an anti-aging approach to eating, this is a science-supported way to do that. I can say that my 9 years, I have truly anti-aged because my body has not changed in 9 years. And so that is a way you can really gauge how something works or doesn't work. Because if you have actually gotten into your 50s, and you can still say that your body looks almost identical to did when it was 40 through picture evidence, then you can see how something's obviously working. So, so you guys just give it a try. I'm telling you, it can be life-changing for you. And then just keep on the program. You see, once you feel great, don't change anything. That is the motto. We want you to get to be the best you can, mentally and physically, and then don't change anything. Right?
Right.
And then 485. Unbelievable. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next week. Oh, good. That was
All right.